Embracing failure. How to learn from mistakes and take responsibility for your actions. Failure is part of life. Failure often feels like a setback or something to avoid and or hide. However, it isn't. Understanding failure and understanding failure is important, and also understand that failure is actually a part of life and can change how we approach challenges. By accepting failure and understanding that we can learn from it, we grow, we develop, we become more mature, we become better at our craft, we become better individuals. Right now we live in a world where a lot of people are in positions of power and control, but yet they don't take responsibility. Some of us are in relationships where we're dealing with people who don't want to take responsibility for the things that they've done. And sometimes it's us that don't want to take responsibility for the parts that we've played in our own demise or our own unhappiness. But understanding that admitting that you made a mistake is not failing, it's part of growth. Recognizing mistakes and learning from them, again, is part of life. Taking responsibility for our actions will help us to grow from those experiences. Failure becomes a powerful tool when a person can develop that in themselves so that they can move forward. Stop looking at failure as just that, failure. Failure is a stepping stone to growth, to development, to you becoming a better person, a better human being, and being able to interact with people positively and productively. Why is failure a part of life? Everyone fails at some point. Nobody's perfect. It is impossible to succeed in everything without encountering some type of obstacle, some type of difficulty. Failure is a sign that you're moving. You're moving. Why? Because you're doing something. It's not a sign of weakness or incompetence. What it is it's a sign that you are trying and pushing boundaries and learning to recognize on how you can help or how you can use it to help you and how you can help others as you move forward. So recognizing it helps you reduce fear and shame often as you associate it with mistakes. But again, we have to be able to accept that failure. We have to be able to take that information and then use it to make the necessary corrections so that we don't repeat it, so that we don't make the same mistakes again. So, how do we learn from mistakes? First step is to understand that from failure is to understand failure is to recognize that mistakes are mistakes. So recognizing them and understanding clearly what those mistakes mean, how you can use those things to move forward with your life, and also looking at what happened without blaming yourself and or making excuses. So ask yourself these questions when you fail. What went wrong? What could I have done differently in that particular situation? Not what somebody else would have done, but what did you do wrong? What could you have done to make the adjustments? Next, what external factors influence the outcome? Because again, most of us, it's not failure in a vacuum. There are things that didn't go right. We may have not communicated correctly. We may have gotten there late. We may have made a mistake in our calculation. There's an old saying, I believe it's called measure twice, cut once. Again, what I want you to do is write down your answers that can help you to clarify your thoughts and your emotions at the time that you particularly failed or after that. All right. This process can encourage you to be honest and reflect on what was essential for your growth, what will be essential for your growth. Again, failure is part of life, and you can extract lessons from that experience. You know, every mistake teaches you something, something valuable, something valuable. For instance, you made a mistake. What are the things that you want to do to make the correction? Do you need to improve your communication? Do you need to be on time? Do you need to take better care of yourself? Do you need to pay attention to things that you haven't been paying attention to and make them more of a priority than the thing that you presently have as a priority, or the thing that got in your way as a priority that kept you from reaching your particular goal? Time management, all of those different things. Utilizing your skills, talents, and abilities so that you can move forward in what is it that you want to do. So take responsibility for your actions. Take responsibility for your actions means your role in the outcome, whether it was positive or negative. This requires courage, humility, but also builds trust and respect in relationships, not only in your household or with your family, but also in your work environment. Now, understand that some people, credibility is just not them. Taking responsibility is just not them. And those are people that, as much as possible, you need to remove yourself from their environment. Why? Because those people are toxic and they're going to be energy suckers. They're going to take from you. So admit your mistakes openly, and then that shows accountability and the willingness to improve. So here's some practical steps for taking responsibility. Admit your part without shifting blame. If you were part of it, take responsibility for the part that you were a part of and move on. Don't take it all on, but take responsibility for whatever it is that you played in that particular situation. Next, apologize sincerely. This can have a positive effect. Some people are going to listen. Some people are never going to listen, no matter how much you tell them and no matter how much truth or honesty you put in front of them. Note that and then make your adjustments as you deal with them. I'm not saying lie to them in the future, but I'm saying know who you're dealing with. Next, commit to change. By setting specific goals to avoid misunderstanding or misrepresentation, you also avoid more mistakes that could happen. Again, a lot of people are in their own mind. So if they're in their own mind as you're talking to them, then that means they're not taking in what you are trying to put out to them. But that's also a key for you to understand how to deal with that person or persons moving forward. Next, seek feedback. Find others with different perspective on how they may have dealt with it. Again, and take that information in, and then what is useful, use. What is not useful, discard it. Why? Because it's not useful. It's not productive. It's not moving the needle forward. Okay? Next, build emotional intelligence through failure. Emotional intelligence, EQ, plays a critical role in how we handle failure. EQ involves recognizing and managing your emotions and understanding others' feelings. Can you change their feelings? No. Can you make them feel or act a certain way? No. But you can present yourself as the best person that you are and move forward. And also understand that your responses need to be constructive as you move forward. Don't meet a negative with a negative. Meet a negative with a positive, and then again, act accordingly. Do what you need to do to build your EQ when you're facing failure. Okay, now, you want to practice awareness. Notice your emotional reaction. You want to self-regulate. Control your impulse to be angry or to be frustrated, basically. Develop empathy. Understand that other people might not feel the way that you feel in that particular situation. Next, apply social skills. Communicate openly and also resolve conflict whenever possible. Some things can't be fixed. Some people can't be fixed. Some people don't want to be fixed. And knowing that is a good example. Let's look at somebody that failed, J.K. Rowling. J.K. Rowling, her book was rejected a ton of times. However, what happened? She eventually got Harry Potter produced and became one of the #1 bestsellers on the planet. Matter of fact, her story writing is historical at this particular point. All right, let's look at Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan played high school basketball. He was rejected the first time by his high school to be on the basketball team, but became one of the greatest basketball players and well-known basketball players of all time. Next, here are some practical tips to embrace failure daily. 1, change your mindset. View failure as a setback and not as a final or a final verdict or a fail in the sense of something that can't be corrected. Next, set realistic goals. Break big tasks into small tasks. All right, that reduces that overwhelm that you would feel. Next, celebrate effort. Recognize that you're making progress, and every time that you do something, as you work forward, stop looking for perfection. Perfection doesn't exist. Next, surround yourself with support. People that have had the experience or people that you share the experience with, as in friends, mentors, all of that. And the next thing is keep a fail journal. Look at the things that you made a mistake on, make the adjustments, and learn from it. Use it as something that shows your growth, shows your progression moving forward. Again, I hope these habits help and normalize failure, help you in normalizing failure, and make it easier for you to face challenges with confidence. Again, this is Mr. Z Inspires. I am also the creator of the Rebuild Process. Please visit us at www.mrzinspires.com. Again, that's www.mrzinspires.com. Thank you very much, and you guys have a great day. Be well.